This is for number 36 on the practice test. So on number 36, we are sketching a function. I wonder if they're going to give me a different problem. If I keep clicking on it, it's probably the same. Okay. So part 1 is asking the end behavior of the function. I can see that this has a negative leading coefficient, but we need to figure out the degree, right? So on my notepad, let me go ahead and write down the function and mark all the multiplicities. So here is m of x. Here is negative 1 over 10. And I have x minus 1 to the first power. The first multiplicity, well, I don't want to call it multiplicity, it's just 1 there. And then I have x plus 3 to the first power there again. And the last one has x minus 5 squared. So if I add up the multiplicities, let's see, hold on, let me zoom out. I'll just cover it up. Degree is adding those multiplicities up. And that equals 4. So this is a 4th degree polynomial. And because 4 is an even number, the end behavior is going to be either up, up, or down, down. Which one is it going to be? Will it be up, up, or down, down? Either this or that. But if you take a look at the leading coefficient, who is a negative number, because of the negative leading coefficient, this polynomial will have an end behavior of down, down. So let me go ahead and click on that. The end behavior of the function is down to the left or falls to the left and down to the right. Because the degree was even and the leading coefficient was negative. Next one. Find the y-intercept. Okay, y-intercept is easier one to find because all we need to do is plug in x equals 0, right? So let's do that. Y-intercept is negative 1 over 10 times 0 minus 1, 0 plus 3, and 0 minus 5 squared. Okay, that is negative 1 over 10 times negative 1 times 3 times negative, hold on, negative 5 squared. Can I just go ahead and say that is positive 25? Okay. And I'm multiplying these three. Negative times negative will give me positive 1 over 10. And if I multiply, I'll just go ahead and multiply all of them at the same time. Having 3/4, that's 75 cents right there. So I'm going to write down 75 on top of a fraction. And 10 is the denominator. I can simplify this because both are divisible by 5, looks like. So if I divide these by 5, my reduced fraction will be 2 in the bottom. And how many times is 5 going to 75? What? Oh no. Like, what am I doing? 15 times, okay. So the reduced fraction is 15 over 2, which means my y-intercept is 15 over 2. Y-intercept is on the y-axis. That means its x-coordinate is 0, and the y-coordinate is 15 over 2. Let's type that in. 0, 15 over 2. Next part. Next part is to find the real zeros. And if I copy down the function next to it, and I like how this is a factored form, because if it's all factored form, it's very easy to find the zeros or x-intercepts. As I'm writing it down, I already found 2 of them. Hold on. Okay, so the first 0 is x equals positive 1, because if you plug in positive 1 in here, 1 minus 1 will give you 0. Next 0 is x equals negative 3. The last 0 is x equals positive 5. So we have those 3. We're going to type in 1, negative 3, and 5. And the very last part is to check the graph. Okay, we have everything so far. We have the end behavior, Y-intercept, and the X-intercept. So let me see which one has the zeros at 1, negative 3, and 5. 1, negative 3, and 5. I almost clicked on this one, but I remember the end behavior must be down, down. So maybe this is not going to be B. How about this? 1, 5, and negative 1. This may be it. This says down, down. But what is the Y-intercept? It could be the, well, I think it's a little too low. Y-intercept is 15 over 2, which is about 7.5. And to me, this looks more like a 1, if you see. 7.5 should be a little bit up here. So I don't think A is it either. Or how about B? C. C is incorrect immediately because the end behavior is pointing up. This is a W shape. I'm thinking about if the graph has to be on M shape because it needs to go down, down. This is going down, down, and it has negative 3. Looks like a 7.5 for the Y-intercept, 1 and 5. I like D. I'm going to click on D for a second, but I need to check out the other ones too. Negative 3, 1 and 5, but again, I think the Y-intercept for this is a little too low, and the other one is going up, up, and I'm looking for a graph that's going down, down to both ends. So I think the answer is D, and if you want to be sure, you may want to graph it yourself. That's okay if you want to. But one more thing that I want to talk about is that if you remember the multiplicity, going up to 5. The multiplicity of 0, 5 is 2, which means at 5 the graph will bounce, and at 1 and negative 3, with odd multiplicity of just 1, the graph will just cross. So let's see if that's happening at our graph D that I picked. So crossing at the 1 and negative 3, crossing at negative 3 and 1, but as we can see, the graph is bouncing straight down. It was below 5. When it hit the 5, it went right back to 5. So yes, it bounces at 5, but crossing it everywhere else. So it does match the multiplicity of all the zeros too. So that is the one that I will click on. And this problem was a longer one, number 36 it was. So it took me some time. I'm going to submit this to see if I got this right. If I missed it, the good news is if I do the quick retake, it's going to show up again on my code. So I know this process will take a long time for you to prepare, but this is my 16th attempt. Yeah, look at that. That's correct. So keep on doing this until you get a good, maybe if you can, you may be able to start a real test if you get all 40 out of 40 right, but do as many as you can. Just check out all the problems, and I'm going to be going over the rest of them. Most of these questions were from number 20 and up, but I didn't get any emails about the first 20. But let me know if you want me to go over those ones too.